This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. Hey, I'm back. So recently, Auburn Sounds, the makers of Panagement, another video I did last year, hit me up and they asked me to check out Graillien 2. They gave me a copy and I was like, okay, I'll definitely check that out. And so I'll show it to you here. It's basically a real-time vocal manipulating plugin, although it can be used for other things besides vocals. So as you see here, it has lots of interesting things like pitch tracking mod. It does like ring modification, frequency modification. You have bit crushers, pitch shifters, like auto tunes, like pitch correction here, etc. So it can do lots of different things, and you can really change the sound of different clips. But let's actually go over this, and I'll let you hear it for yourself, as opposed to me just yapping. So here we go. Let's go. I'll just play this without anything on it so you can hear what this sounds like at first. This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice. Okay, so boring, me just talking. But let's go into some of the maybe more interesting things. So let's do this. Add sub-octave. This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features. I like that one. Makes me sound like a supervillain. Simple octaver. This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying. I like that. It's much more subtle, but I can picture using that. Tuner doubler. I think this one's cool also. This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features. That one's not so useful on this because it's speaking, but I imagine what this is used for is if you sing a line and then you're like, okay, I want to do the same thing, but if I, just copy it and paste it, it's just going to make it louder. It's not going to sound, different. But using this, copy and paste it to a new track, shift it in time a little bit, add this on there, it makes it different enough. I think it's kind of like a modern vocal technique, so I appreciate that. Younger speech, here we go. This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin. Jeez, makes me sound like a nerd. More than usual, anyways. Here's Protocol Bot. This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features. Yeah, so that one made me sound like a robot with a lisp. And let's see, Insect Swarm. This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features. That's cool. That could be used in like a movie or something like that. Serious Mail. This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features. Subtle, but it's okay. She and Her Wolf. I haven't heard this one before. Let's see what it sounds like. This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin. Kind of interesting. Nasal Crush.
This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features.
That's funny. Let's see, another one, Orcish Council.
This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin.
Another one kind of interesting, Killer Drone.
This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real...
Okay, and do the last one of these kind of special effects.
This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin.
So I think you can kind of see what it does. I'll go through these individually to kind of explain them, and so you can hear them too. Let me turn everything off here. So if you look here with the Bit Crusher, this is, I think if you heard of Bit Crusher before, you know what it does, but I'll play it and I'll turn it on.
This is Graillien 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features.
So you can kind of get that digital distortion sound. That's really cool. It's not something I'd use all the time, but every once in a while it's interesting. This pitch tracking mod I think is more interesting. It adds either frequency shifting or ring modulation to it, which gives it a grittier sound. It's not exactly the same as the Bit Crusher sound, but somewhat similar. But let's check it out.
This is Graillon 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features. This is Graillon 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a
Okay. And then the octaves, it allows you to shift it up an octave. Like here, I believe this is 2 octaves down, this is 1 octave down. And so it sounds slightly different.
This is Graillon 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features. This is Graillon 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features.
So there you go, and then shifting from frequency shifting to ring modulation. I'll let you hear that.
This is Graillon 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features. This is Graillon 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features.
So you can have lots of fun with that. I like this more than I thought I would. It's something you can't use all the time, but it's interesting sometimes. And you can use the low cut too if you think like, it's getting too much lows into there. You can cut it using this.
This is Graillon 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features.
Yeah, useful, right? So let's move on to the pitch shift, probably my favorite part here. Let me see, I'll just move it up and down so you can hear it.
This is Graillon 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying
Plugin with lots of interesting features.
And so you see it's just a pitch shifter. And one thing you will notice is barely using any CPU. I like this. It's very CPU efficient, so that's one of the things I really like about it. But if we go into here, the formats, you can use that so you don't get as much Mickey Mousing here.
This is Graillon
2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features.
So anytime you move it up too high, it's going to sound unnatural, but like the little bit, it works well. So I'll move it up a little bit.
This is Graillon 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features.
So if you're just doing a little bit, it can actually help, but do that by ear. And I like how it's not just an on and off, but actually a percentage, so that's good. And the same thing, I'll shift it down.
This is Graillon 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features.
So this is really cool if you want to sound like a supervillain. I can turn some of this stuff on here, like this.
This is Graillon 2 from Auburn Sounds. It's a real-time voice modifying plugin with lots of interesting features.
Yeah, that's cool. So, I like that one. I'm sorry, I'm playing around too much. But let's go to some other stuff. I'm sure you're tired of hearing that. Let's go to this one. Me just singing something quickly, and I'll show you how some of the auto-tune works. So now I have it off, so this is just dry.
Let me sing something for this demo, yeah.
I believe this was in C minor, so do it here, and this correction fully on. Let's see how well I'm actually singing.
Let me sing something for this demo, yeah.
There we go. It sounds like a robot. So that's kind of cool. If you don't want it to sound as much like a robot, change this smooth from fast to slow. Let me see.
Let me sing something for this demo, yeah.
So you see, it's not quite as noticeable as if I do this.
Let me sing something.
Also, another thing is the inertia. So I believe it's this one's how quickly it changes, but this is kind of like it smooths it a little bit. I'm not sure exactly, but let's listen to it.
Let me sing something for this demo, yeah.
change it a little bit more. Let me sing something for this demo, yeah. Yeah, so it depends on what you're doing it for, but I think mess with these together for a more natural sound, or just, I think, turn them all the way to the left for a more robotic sound, so either one. The snap range is, I believe, how far it will go, so like all the way over, or say here, I believe it'll like do huge jumps, whereas here, I think it will do maybe fewer jumps. Let's see if I do something there. Let me sing something for this demo, yeah. So as you saw, all the way here, it was jumping all over the place. Here, it's not jumping as much. So I think in the middle is probably pretty good. But as I said, tune that according to what sounds good to you. And the reference should be obvious. I believe it's 440 hertz is in the middle. And then as you move it over, it tilts it if you don't want to have your song in standard tuning. So, and you can do a full, partial, etc. And with all of these, like here at first I was like, how am I supposed to get this, exactly at the right pitch? But actually, if you hold the control key, you can move in smaller increments. If you want to get exactly at 7, and I think, it's hard to land exactly on 7, hit the control key on your keyboard, at least on Windows, and then you can move it exactly to 7 if you want. So that's a cool feature. Moving on, there's just a few more things like the output, the dry mix. You can mix the wet and the dry here. You can also do it here. I'm not sure exactly what the difference is, but I think maybe this actually increases the gain of the output, but I'm not sure. You have to mess with that yourself. Moving on. Enough talking about this. Let me just show you some examples. So here's one, just a guitar. Whoa. I'm using a bunch of pitch correction, other nonsense. I don't want it to sound like that. Here it is, just dry. Okay, so here it is. Let's pitch shift it up an octave. So that's really cool. It's kind of like a toy box sound. Let me see if I mix the dry in there. See how it sounds. Oh, that's not what I want. Mix it in here. That's cool. I like that type of sound. Another use of it. Let me move this. Set it to default. Here, this one is just kind of a guitar sound where I'm playing bass, right? So if I want to take that and I want to change it into a bass sound, go here, shift it down an octave. So that was just the direct guitar sound. I shifted it down an octave, and if I want to do a little bit more, I can take something else, like let's say here. I showed a video on how to do this about a year ago. I made a video on this, and I'm just using this, shifting the guitar sound down an octave using a bass amp, and here we go. So, and luckily, because this is for live inputs, I've tried it, and actually you can get it with low enough latency so you can play this in real time. So that's good, because the other way you had to do it in post-production. But now you can do it in real time with this plugin, Graillien 2, which I'm still not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but I think it's Graillon. And do one more with guitar. Let me listen to this. So, there we go. Super Mario. So, what I'll do with this is mess with the quantization and octave settings so I can get something more like a chiptunes type sound. So, let's hear it. So I think it sounds pretty good. It's a little bit too much high end. This Bit Crusher adds lots of high end, and so for actual chiptune sound, I might want to turn that down a little bit. So let's see, the bandpass filter, low pass. Just take this down, maybe 5,000. Let's see. Perhaps too much, but for those types of lo-fi sounds, you can definitely do it with this. It's really cool. You can do it with vocals, guitars. I was surprised at how well it works for guitars. They said it was meant for vocals, but I think it works well on guitars too. It sounds really good, and especially with the low CPU, it's cool for, doing those kind of like whammy effects where you shift something up an octave really fast or down an octave really fast. I haven't tried automating this, but I'm sure it works well. Actually, I could do that right now, couldn't I? Let's see. Go back to here. Let's look in the automation. Graillien 2. Lead gain. Placebo. I don't even know what that is. Where's pitch shift? There we go. Let's try shifting this up an octave. Snap here. Oh, what am I doing? Delete this node. There we go. Let's see if it works. One more time so you can actually see it. So there you go. So this is really cool, and I actually really like the graphical user interface. I like this in the middle here. I think this company, Auburn Sound, does really nice graphical user interfaces. It's easy to use. It can be used for, like just bread and butter vocal correction, and it can also be used for lots of, weird effects. It's not that expensive, so definitely check it out. They have a demo and a free version, so check it out and see if you like it. But until next time, thanks, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and see you.